list comes out.
Well, are you if or when right now?
What were you last hour?
I was if.
I'll be if this hour.
Okay, I'm when.
Okay.
When it happens, and we said it first, I don't expect to see a lot of changes. There will be some changes in the product, but I think the product needs to be changed, and I don't think anybody in the business will disagree with that.
Not at all. And Hulk Hogan was on Bubba the Love Sponge earlier this week. He said it's a done deal, and that basically Vince Russo would be let go. And, of course, Hogan is friends with Eric Bischoff, and he is, I'm sure, getting some of the behind-the-scenes because, again, if this happens, Hulk Hogan will probably be brought back. And I don't disagree with that because we don't like Hulk Hogan because of things we know that happen behind the scenes, and we do report on those. But there is still a very big draw from Hulk Hogan for your casual fans, and still even a lot of the diehards. I know the man with no name calls the hotline. He's excited about Hogan possibly coming back.
Yeah, a guy with no name.
Well, that's his gimmick. So.
Okay, we all have
But
it.
still, I mean, there are a lot of people out there that like Hulk Hogan, and so if I was starting a federation today, I would probably have Hulk Hogan if I could.
He'd be your number one draft choice?
Well, outside of The Rock, I mean, you got to take a look at maybe who the free agents
Please.
are. You would take The Rock?
I would take before Hulk Hogan.
I would too. I just said I would.
There'd be 10 other guys I'd take before Hulk Hogan.
You see, I don't know. Okay, Austin? The
Yes,
Rock?
I'd take the I'd take Austin.
Probably Goldberg.
Yeah, Triple H.
The only reason I'm saying this is Hogan has mainstream media appeal, which would help you.
To who? Some
a lot of
hippie that
people.
was eating his vitamins 20 years ago?
No, what I'm saying is Hogan will get you on the Entertainment Tonight. He'll get you on Jay Leno. He'll get you on Letterman. He has the name
So can
recognition
DDP.
to get in there and to get you the publicity that the Federation could use when
That
you're first
pizza,
starting
what
out.
was in that pizza you were eating?
Same stuff as in the brownies last week.
Yeah,
I'm saying
good
probably
point.
Hogan would be my 5th or 6th overall choice.
Okay. Well, at least you dropped
Not my number one. No, Rock or Austin would be number one.
All right. Just checking.
No.
You looked glazed there. You went out of the room for a minute. You come back. Your eyes are glazed. I just wanted to make sure you really were.
Walk by the Exit studio.
Is that
what happened? Yeah.
Let's get back to the phone lines again. Let's go to line 5 this time. Suicide X, you've got the wrestling guys.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
I just heard the Undertaker guy diss the Spanish Fly.
Big time.
But huge slam.
No. There's two people I hate out of the station. Not hate, dislike. Is Woodchuck because he does not deserve to listen to Metallica. I mean, I got bigger fans that's better, that knows more than him. But I'm not going to discuss that anything later on. I want to know what's going on with Sting. They said he's supposed to change at Halloween Havoc.
Well, the idea, and again, there's going to be some stuff that could happen between now and then that might change this, is that Sting will become a hybrid of his former characters, possibly having blonde hair with the crow paint, possibly, more colorful crow. I don't know. That was the original idea. Whether they follow through with it, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I just like to thank Julie for keeping my name. The 69th one.
That's it, brother. You're the man that named her.
Yeah, I feel great. I know who hit Austin. It has to be Shawn Michaels with the Big Show. Because think, if Shawn Michaels did do that, he has to have a backup like a bodyguard. And the Big Show did get the title shot that night.
You know what? That's a good point. If you do some historical recollection, that would tie the two of them together. Now, I've been Shawn Michaels all along, but a lot of people, because of the blonde hair, that was dropped, obviously, for a reason. What do you think about Deborah?
Well, I don't really think that much, but that blonde hair thing, that's definitely like a clue. You see, Mr. S there, he knows what's going on there. That's what Austin has done him.
You know what I think, and I know this is not going to happen.
Are you okay?
I had a little piece of pepperoni went down the wrong way. My goodness.
Yeah, it's like the storm out here, man.
I think so. Wouldn't it be a very cool thing if Jeff Jarrett came back to WWF and he was the one that hit Austin with the car? You think about when Jeff Jarrett left, it was around SummerSlam last year, about a year ago. I'm not sure how long his WCW contract is, but if there was a way to bring him back, and again, there's some bad blood there with Jim Ross and Steve Austin, but if you remember when Jeff Jarrett left, and he's been public about this, he talked about it in his numerous shoot interviews he's done on WCW, Steve Austin refused to work an angle with Jeff Jarrett. If Jarrett came back and, he was the one who hit Austin, or even if Deborah, if she's the one that comes in and says, you forced my man out, you had Jeff Jarrett leave, although they were officially, out before Jeff Jarrett actually left.
True.
There's a couple of different ways you could play that.
That's a wild point, too. But I'm with you. Shawn Michaels, I see the HBK coming back again.
Maybe the Rock or the blonde wig. I originally said it was going to be the Rock.
That could be the other thing.
The Rock with the wig.
We could sit here at Suicide and do this all night. You know, somebody with a blonde wig. His point, you know, about Shawn Michaels and then Big Show being on the side or whatever.
Hey, we saw the Big Show with that Hulk Hogan style hair he had. So he has the blonde wig somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, my other question is that ECW pay-per-view. I thought that was better than their other ones I've seen. That sort of surprised me at the main event. I thought Credible was going to take it again and have RVD and stuff, but...
Well, you know, I thought it was a good upset to have Jerry Lynn win the belt. He's certainly a hard worker. He's been there for a while, so he deserved it. Hey, we got to get to another call, okay?
Hey, real quick, what happened to Samu off the Head Shrinkers?
The who?
Samu off the Head Shrinkers?
Good question. I'll have to take a look in the top 500, see if he's in there.
We'll see if
I
we
want to
can find
join
him.
WAD.
You want to join WAD? Well,
do it, man. I tell you what, they were at the Nutter Center.
take him a case of beer, you're in.
Oh, that's all it takes.
And I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks a lot.
Please blow me up.
Oh, you got to ask the 69th wonder of the world, brother.
69th wonder of the world, blow up the best person ever.
Oh, geez, that's a little bit of a...
I'm sorry, but I had something there real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay, there you go. He's gone for another
He's
week.
outta here, man.
Yeah, he's like a cat. Actually, he's better. He's been calling this show every week for more than 9 weeks, so he's more than a
Yeah,
cat.
he does it. Loves to get blown up.
Bizarre.
Bizarre
That's
guy.
scary.
It's everybody has their little thing, so that's his.
Hey, let's go back to line 4 again. Ice. Man.
Hi, guys.
Oh, God, don't quote Vanilla Ice, my God.
What's
Ice,
happening,
what's
Ice?
up?
Not much. I was just hearing you guys talk about when The Undertaker started dissing to the Spanish Fly. I mean, what's up with that? He's one of the coolest callers you guys got.
Yeah, everybody's defending
You know,
Fly.
Undertaker guy kind of had a running feud with the Spanish Fly. Fly took some shots at Undertaker guy a while back.
Yeah, he did.
And I think they've had a little war of words ever since then.
Undertaker guy, really, he was on Willie F's case for a while.
Mm-hmm. And Love Man.
And the Love Man. You know what, really, Undertaker guy kind of runs people out of here. He does.
He's like our enforcer.
Yes, he is. You may want to join him, Ice.
I don't know about that one.
All right, well, thanks for the call.
I got a couple more questions, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Hurry up.
What about Austin? You guys were talking
Yeah.
about HBK and everything. The Big Show, I don't think he did it because I think that he got that match just because how good he's been.
Because he's too damn big to fit behind the damn driver's seat?
Yeah.
Chunky butt.
Chunky butt, too?
Yeah. I think that it would fit the Heartbreak Kid because, if you remember back when HBK and Triple H, they were really good friends, and they still are, I believe. And maybe he just wanted to get them back because Austin took Shawn Michaels out of his very last match, and it was Austin's fault. And it wasn't Austin's fault. He won the match. And maybe he just wanted to get revenge on that or something.
You know, I don't think it's going to be Shawn Michaels because of what I said before. I think that whoever comes back for this feud is going to be on the losing end. I don't think they'll bring Shawn Michaels back in that fashion. Although I will say this, if that is what it will take to get Shawn Michaels back into wrestling and actually getting in the ring and wrestling, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I must agree with you guys.
All right, thanks a lot for the phone call. Let's go to line 7 in Dayton. It's Mike on the Wrestling Guys.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
What's up, Mike?
I have a question about the Triple H Stephanie McMahon marriage.
Yeah.
Do you think Steph will turn on Triple H here pretty soon?
Oh, yeah.
It's just a matter of time, brother. Kurt Angle waiting in the wings and China ready to come back home to daddy.
Do you think maybe it'll take place at the next pay-per-view, or if they're dragging on more?
You know, the one thing that they're doing with these storylines, both the Triple H angle and also Steve Austin, is that they're playing it out much slower than they do other types of storylines. And there's some people that are criticizing that. It's kind of old school in the way they're doing it. I kind of like it.
What, the whole dragging it on?
How they drag it out a little bit longer. As long as it's fresh and they keep interjecting different things
Yeah, as
into
long
it,
as
I'm
people
fine.
are still curious as to what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, you know it's going to happen. You kind of think so. You got it. And every week you tune in, but really then something else happens that makes you think, well, maybe it won't.
It's a soap opera.
Do you think maybe Steph will interfere and help Angle win the title, maybe?
Well, one thing you're going to see on SmackDown, this really isn't giving too much away, but
Go ahead.
Angle
You'd
is
love
going
this.
to ask Stephanie McMahon to start accompanying him for all of his matches. And she doesn't turn him down. She doesn't say yes. She doesn't say no. but she says she'll think about it. So they're certainly going to still try and play up a possible relationship between Stephanie and Kurt Angle. And as you saw Monday on Raw, Triple H a little bit upset with Stephanie. He leaves her in the ring sobbing like a baby.
Yeah, I kind of felt sorry for Stephanie.
Did you now?
Go ahead, Sean. You want to release some more information about what's going to be on?
That's okay.
No, go ahead.
Nah, I can't.
Yeah, right.
Anything else?
Do you like Stephanie McMahon? You like how she looks?
Oh, yes.
So
I'll tell you what, Julie, the 69th wonder of the world. You know what? She does. Yes, she does. Kind of. Tell the truth.
Well, you think she looks like the face Stephanie McMahon before she turned in?
Yeah, I does. I said that.
So?
Yeah,
I don't think she looks like Stephanie.
No, but I mean, just has that pure
wholesome quality. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
We're gonna have to send her for one of them makeovers.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you, though.
Hey, thanks a lot for the call, Mike.
I have one more thing, too.
Okay, make it quick.
The Browns play at the Cardinals this weekend.
They play at Arizona. They could do well in that game.
Yeah, they could. They're going to get snapped.
Thanks a lot for the call. We appreciate it.
The Browns are going down, man. They had their big bubble. They were 2-1. They didn't play anybody. Then reality sets in, and they're going to get spanked again like a little baby with their hands caught in a cookie jar.
Hey, they got another game coming up against the Bengals.
Well,
so
then
there's another win. Yeah.
That's it.
You're listening to the Wrestling Guys. It's Buckeye Country.
106.5. We'll be right back, Dayton.
106.5.
Welcome back again. Yes, we are the Wrestling Guys, and it's lightning outside, and I don't know what's going on in your neighborhood, but downtown Dayton here, high above the Oregon District, it looks like it's getting a little wild out there.
And we're at the top of the building with electrical equipment. This is nice.
That's it, but we're brought to you by
They put us on the top here for a reason.
You sure? Man, you know what? If we have a problem, I know who to call.
Dyer Groffalo manager.
1-800-INJURED. Let something happen to me. I got a tiger on my team.
Just a few minutes ago, you heard Shane Douglas tonight on Thunder, which starts at 9:30, an hour from now. He will be battling Sting in the main event tonight.
Anything else you want to leak?
Yeah, I can leak who wins the match if you want to.
No, go ahead. I know you're just dying
I don't
to do it.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Do you know who went to Australia?
Yes.
Who?
Everybody.
Everybody?
Just about.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
DDP go?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us?
No, you said you knew.
I don't know that one.
Kevin Nash go?
Yes.
You sure?
Relatively.
Scott Hall go?
No.
Okay, just checking. What is going to happen with Scott Hall? What do you think?
A lot of it, again, depends on this whole Eric Bischoff thing. You saw Scott Hall's picture in the box this past Monday, so they've been teasing, him coming in. They've had, Kevin bringing out the cardboard stand-up of Scott Hall. Brad Siegel, if all this is a shoot, not a work, he says that he will not allow Scott Hall back as long as he is running WCW.
Did you hear that all that Scott Hall had to do was call and apologize to Brad Siegel?
Yes.
And
that Scott Hall won't do it.
Okay.
Does that surprise you?
No, not at all.
No. But, again, I think everything right now is pretty much in a holding pattern. I was very surprised to see Buff Bagwell back this Monday.
That was a shock. Anybody, when you saw David Flair and the guy with the hood on, if anybody thought that was Buff Bagwell, they are better than I am at figuring an angle. Just with everything going on, Buff Bagwell was not a work. Buff Bagwell did want out of his contract. He had asked for it for a number of reasons, which in my personal opinion, no great loss.
And he was suspended for a while, too, so let's not forget that
that's
also.
Right. But just kind of odd. I think Scott Hall would be a tremendous asset right now. And I think that if they do make the ownership change and there's more creativity or different creativity levels, it can be a great opportunity again.
And I'm still trying to figure out the way they played it off this past Monday, if Buff was a heel or a face. I can't. The whole situation there is a little bit odd.
I don't think it's done yet.
No.
I think that there's still a lot more to be said before that baby ever gets out.
If it does.
If it does.
Yes. Let's get back to the phone lines, 457-1065. You want to hop on board. And line 6, is that next?
Yeah, let's go to line 6 all the way from Westchester. Doc, what's happening, buddy?
Marty Adams, you're the hardest man in the world to get a hold of.
I'm pretty bad occasionally, man. How's it going down there? We got it. I saw the fight poster. You got it all happening.
All right. I went to Pulse Stations for the WCW show. You weren't there. I went to the Evendale show. You weren't there. So I finally had to go to your own store.
That's the place, man. Right now we've been rolling. The Wrestling Guys are on a roll. We've got a lot going on, and the Evendale show, from what I hear, a great place to hold a wrestling event.
Yeah, the locker room was humongous.
Yeah, and the Grand Vic coming up, King Kong Bundy, Tony Atlas, and one of the rare appearances of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, October 27th.
I'll be there.
You can't wait for it.
Oh,
4 boxes hanging in a ring match. I was hanging in my closet after having to watch that.
And did you hear about the 49ers? That was the name for the match, the 49ers match. That was pretty weak.
It's pretty miserable down there. Although I do give them credit for pushing the younger guys. Everybody complaining about that company not pushing any of the younger guys. They're finally doing it, but the storylines are just oof.
And that's the thing; they're so inconsistent, with their storylines and the direction they're going that it's just confusing to watch it. And the one thing you hope doesn't happen is guys like Palumbo and O'Hare that have such great potential. You hope they don't get, in a way, blacklisted or something like that for being a part of what's happening right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The problem is, just talking to some casual fans, some friends of mine, they just can't follow it. They just change week to week to week. It's unwatchable to really captivate anybody's attention.
Well, I walked in here, tonight before the show, and Julie was sitting here getting things ready, and she looked and she said, "How stupid was WCW this past week?" And my wife...
She wouldn't say that. She's pure as a driven snow. She would just say, the show wasn't as good as what I've expected it to be.
I think she said it sucked, but
No,
my wife, she thumbs up to that. But my wife, who's more of a casual fan, she can't stand watching WCW and just hates it.
Yeah. Well, my wife can't watch wrestling at all, except the HWS.
She didn't do too bad a job down in Fort Laramie.
Hey, so long as there's alcohol there.
No, that always helps, man.
Anyway, also I had a comment. Jim Ross with the China Playboy edition. Could he say that the pictures were tastefully done anymore?
You look at those pictures. How tasteful is it to be in the shower pouring water on yourself? I'm just wondering.
I thought it was very tasteful.
He was trying to promote it so the parents could buy it for their kids so they could beat the Sable.
That's what I would have done.
Anyway.
I hope they do beat the Sable issue.
Hey, Doc, we don't want to cut you short,
That's
but
all right. That's all I had.
the big man himself, Bubba Ray Dudley's on the line, and I can tell him that, you're talking and that we don't have time for him right now.
That's all right. Later.
All right, brother. Doc, thanks for calling in. Hey, let's get to the celebrity hotline right now. This guy's got a lot going on. One of the table-breaking champions is a 7-time ECW champion and one of the hardest-working men in the WWF, Bubba Ray Dudley. You've got the wrestling guys.
Well, Marty, it's good to be back on your show, but every time I come on, you seem to make a mistake. That's 8 times.
8 times.
8-time ECW World Tag Team Champions and 1-time WWF World Tag Team Champions.
Hey, Bubba, you're coming in town in November. We can get some tables out if you want to put Marty through one so he can get it right.
You know what? Marty may be a little difficult to get up there. He's a little bit on the larger side.
Look, I took care of... Watch it. Don't call me the F word.
I didn't call you the F word.
All right, brother. Look, I handled you pretty well there in the lobby that night.
Yeah, you're pretty tough from about 1,500 miles away.
You got it, man. I know when to talk trash. But, Bub, we've been talking about it all night. A lot going on eBay with the Dudley Boys, and that's Dudley with a B-O-Y-Z. A lot of match-worn things going on there. A lot of stuff that nobody really ever had a chance to see or have a chance to buy.
That's true. For the first time in the Dudley's career, we're actually going to make our merchandise, our own personal merchandise, whether it's the former tie-dye shirts or the overalls or the boots we wore in ECW or the hats, the headbands, anything that we wore in the ring. We're finally going to make that available to the public for the very first time, including some of the infamous baseball jerseys that me and Devon wore probably in our last year in ECW. With the big 3D on the back. Along with that, we got the WWF dolls, the ECW dolls. We got WWF camos that we've retired. Just all sorts of Dudley memorabilia that you really could never, ever get your hands on before now becomes available to the public. And they can either look on eBay on the Dudley Boys, that's D-U-D-L-E-Y, and then they put in a space, B-O-Y-Z. Or if they want to go directly to the right to the source, the one and only person in charge of the Dudley Boys authentic memorabilia on the internet, they can go to FYNfeather.com.
I thought it was at AOL, Bub.
That AOL, I'm sorry. I get hit in the head a lot.
That's all right, man. But it's FinFeather at AOL.com. But,
yeah,
I mean, this is... I heard some of your boots and some other things were going to be on there.
Well, we just put up the first pair of camos that I retired, and those went for a nice little bid. And we have all sorts of different ECW packages, all sorts of different WWF packages, individual items, 8x10s, dolls, boots, camos, the Raw magazine, the WOW magazine with the Dudleys on the cover. And we even got pieces of tables from the various table matches that we've had. We've actually got some of the old tie-dyes from some of the more memorable matches in ECW.
I understand those ECW baseball jerseys are very popular at various nightclubs around Dayton.
Yeah, well, when you got a friend like Marty promising you the world.
Hey, brother. Got in the second time.
And for the story, we won't name the nightclub, but the Dudley Boys were refused entrance because of they had on baseball jerseys.
2 nights in a row.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you can get one of those jerseys. I think I was wearing the black one that night that said Dudley 3D on the back. And that's a one-of-a-kind item. So if you were able to purchase or bid for one of those jerseys, you'd have a piece of Dudley memorabilia that could not be duplicated. It's absolutely one-of-a-kind.
Well, Bubba, one of the things, man, is that you guys are really doing a great job of trying to offer some of this stuff to your fans. A lot of times wrestlers never do it, or sports people, and your fans have been asking for Dudley merchandise. We get hit constantly, so, it's a great opportunity for the fans across the country to be able to get some of this merchandise.
Well, it's time for the Dudley Boys to let their fans, get in on a piece of the action, so to speak, and we got chunks of tables from various matches. I believe that's going to become available pretty soon as actual pieces of the table that we put Undertaker through on SmackDown and pieces of the table that we put Rocky through on Monday Night Raw, things like that. If you wanted to get an entire table, we can autograph an entire table to you. Basically anything that you're looking for, if you get in touch with, like I said, with the representative, and once again, that's Fin Feather.
Fine Feather?
It's a fine feather. Fin Feather.
Fin Feather, FYNFEATHER at AOL. The representative will be able to tell you everything that you need to know, all the prices for the various items, and, you can get yourself a piece of Dudley memorabilia.
That sounds great.
Hey, Bubba, a couple weeks ago, you, Devon, taking on Raven and Taz. Was there a point in that match you all kind of looked at each other and said, we're in the WWF now, this is weird, that we're all fighting each other again?
Well, you know what? ECW definitely put out some great talents, Raven and Taz being two of them, and it was kind of cool to be back in the ring with guys that we worked with in the past. Raven, Taz has come in and, he's been doing really well. It's time for Raven to come on in and prove himself. And I think the Dudley Boys working with Raven and Taz can have a nice little run and help them to establish themselves as some good heels in the WWF and to further the Dudley Boys monster babyface push.
How do you like this babyface thing now? I know you were apprehensive at first.
Oh, being a babyface rules.
Come on, Bub. I mean, do you really enjoy it? It's just not you.
It's not me, huh? I think they finally came to the conclusion that they better make me a babyface quick, because if I got the microphone in my hand one too many times, they'd get pulled off of USA or TNN.
Did you ever think it would happen, though? I mean, over all the years, did you think that you'd end up being a babyface here?
Well, the WWF is a babyface territory, so, the people, normally you would think that if, you put women through tables and you beat people up real bad, that you'd, become heels, but in WWF, they love it. And, we're just riding the wave, The Dudley fans, more and more each week, you see more Dudley signs, 3D signs, what's up signs, get the table signs. So I cannot complain. It's been a hell of a ride. It should only get better. We're definitely looking to be the premier tag team in the world today.
So, did you like meeting the Budweiser guy a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I think it's a pretty innovative thing when, you can scream "What's up" out to the crowd, and then have a 6'3", 250 pound black man come jumping off the top rope with a headbutt to your nuts.
Hey, Bubba, we have a female producer now on our show. We're wondering what it would take to drive her through a table.
Thanks a lot.
Just wondering.
I'll drive her through a table, no problem.
Bubba, she's the 69th wonder of the world.
She's the 69th wonder?
Yes.
That's very nice. I'll
I think yes.
I'll have to give her a test run.
There you go, man. Well, maybe she'll come up and play some games up at the arcade at the Dayton Mall with you.
Yeah, well, you know what goes on at the Dayton Mall.
Hey, Bob, you guys are getting ready to come through. There's a Midwestern swing. You're in Toledo, Ohio on October 15th. You're right here in Dayton and Cincinnati, November 11th and 12th. And then over in Columbus for Raw on the 13th, Indianapolis on the 14th. I mean, you guys are all coming through. A lot going on. Tag team division in WWF, strongest I think that it's been maybe ever. And you guys at the head of the pack, where do you see the Dudley Boys going in the future?
I'm really not sure what's going on right now. The quest for the second run as tag team champions, obviously, is always in our minds. But right now, we're just going out there, entertaining the fans, giving them what they want, 3D'ing people, putting people through tables, giving them the old headbutt to the nuts, and just kicking ass and taking names, which the Dudley Boys do best. And when they give us a one-on-one shot, maybe at the Hardys this time, maybe the Dudley Boys will be tag team champions again. But you know what? Even if we're not, as long as we can go out and put on matches like we did at SummerSlam, the TLC match at SummerSlam with the Hardys and Edge and Christian, we'll be happy.
Hey, Bubba, there have been some of our fans that have left messages and whatnot that have said they think that perhaps they see a singles push for you down the line. Is that something you would be okay with, or do you want to stick do you want to stay as a tag team, basically?
Well, a singles push, if that's the way it happens, in the WWF, it's kind of like, the way it goes is eventually all tag teams get broken up because it is a singles territory. If they ever broke us up and they, made us into singles wrestlers, I think we both have very successful singles careers. We both take full advantage of them, and, we just run with the ball.
Sounds great, Bubba. Once again on eBay, Dudley Space Boys with a Z, all kinds of memorabilia, and Fin Feather, FYNFEATHER at AOL.com. And the Dudley Boys, one of the few in the world of professional wrestling making these types of items available to their fans across the country.
Yeah, if you go on eBay right now under Dudley Boys with a Z like we've been talking about, there are two packages up. There's an ECW package with some rare ECW stuff, and there's a big WWF package with a lot of cool WWF stuff. You can start bidding on that, or you can get in touch, like you said, with Fin Feather, FYN Feather, at AOL.com, and that person will be able to handle some direct dealings with you, and you tell them what you want, and we should be able to accommodate you. And from the very top of the list down to the very bottom, we got 8x10s, and we got the camos, the tie-dyes, the retired boots. We got pieces of barbed wire with Bubba's blood on it. What you need, whatever you need, you got.
All right,
Bubba, WWF coming to town November 11th in Cincinnati, the 12th in Dayton, 13th in Columbus. We'll see you then. Best of luck and good luck with the auctions.
Don't forget, Bub, got to do the mall walk.
Yes, we do.
We'll do the mall walk, and as I said in the past, and I'll keep saying in the future, if anybody's got the guts or the nuts to show up and get face to face with the Dudley Boys at the Dayton Mall, come on down.
All right, Bubba. Thanks a lot.
Maybe we'll see you in the video arcade.
Well, we'll let Julie know.
Okay.
Hey, Bub, take it easy, man. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Brother.
Thank you very much. Bubba Ray Dudley, one half of the WWF Tag Team, not champions, but
ex-tag
they could
team
be anytime,
champions.
yes.
Anytime. They could be anything they wanted to.
We got a break. We'll come back in a few minutes. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys.
On WBKI Buckeye Country, one as a tag team champions of talk radio. It's been heck of an evening. And Bubba Ray Dudley with his own unique brand of humor.
And he said he would take Julia through a table. And off the air, we said, Julia, would you go through a table? And what did you say?
I said I would.
She said she would.
She's too pure and wholesome to go through a table.
Oh, come on. I think it would be fun.
She thinks it would be fun.
She will go through a table. Oh. Hey, real quick, listen to this story, Marty. This is off of WWF.com. I'm going to read it verbatim right off of here. A malicious prank was perpetrated on The Rock and thousands of young citizens on Florida on Wednesday. Apparently, people attending a voter registration rally on the Melbourne campus of Brevard Community College were deeply disappointed when they learned that The Rock and the World Wrestling Federation had no knowledge of the rally. Representatives from Civic Rock, the group that organized the event, were contacted by a man who claimed that he scheduled events for The Rock and told them that the Federation champion would attend. Authorities are investigating who committed it. The charges may end up being filed. Gary Davis, of course, he's been on this show, said, "We are very upset that what should have been a very positive event turned into deep disappointment for our fans as a result of someone misleading the student organization. This is something everyone should learn from."
You know, and it's one thing we're going to talk about. Speaking of Gary Davis, if you go to the Wrestling Guys website under www.thewrestlingguys.com, our audio archives is starting to load up. Al Snow's on there. Gary Davis is on there. You can hear the Wrestling Guys if you're out of the state or you're out of the listening area. And we're going to have Bubba Ray's interview on. That'll be on in the next couple of days. And there's a lot more coming. Al Snow's interview is hilarious from a few weeks ago. And that made it onto the audio archive. So it's just a lot going on. The website changing. The 69th Wonder of the World making her presence felt.
She will be on the website,
Yes, she will.
But, you know, talking about whoever did this thing with the scam down in Florida, that's why you don't see WWF wrestlers on independent shows as much anymore.
Same thing happened. We've talked about it up on the East Coast. Promoters going up there saying that they're going to be there, tying in autograph appearances and making it seem like they're going to be there at the wrestling matches, which they're not. And you can say that a guy is either only going to be making a special appearance or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. We've done it. We've had people that'll be there from one or the other. But in this case, causing a lot of problems, a lot of lawsuits, and a lot of disgruntled and unhappy people, just like there were there in the WWF, really had no knowledge of it at all.
And the WWF, you know, taking precautions, saying, look, you know, if this is the trouble this is going to cause, fine. None of our guys will do indie shows, you know, so that's their policy. So it's unfortunate it came to that, but...
Well, I think it'll loosen up again, but I think they'll put some restrictions in, and they're just going to let people that they know are legitimate promoters work with their people. And they're going to put some rules and protection in, which they have to. Business is so big right now, so popular, that they can't afford the negative publicity, and no business can.
Absolutely.
Hey, let's go to line one again from West Milton. Grimlocks, you've got the Wrestling Guys.
What's up?
What's up?
Yes, that's right. I'm the retard formerly known as Grimlock.
Oh,
okay.
Good thing it's formal.
Yeah, the formerly known.
Okay.
I like to say that the last month's WOW magazine, I was disappointed how they told me all those characters of Kane. I thought he was real like that.
Nah, he's been a lot of different people. He was the fake Diesel, and he was Dr. Isaac Yankem, so...
Yeah, I found out.
Yeah.
And why is everybody right now just saying, like, I wonder who made Kane talk? That's pretty pathetic.
Well, if you remember when the character first started, he'd been severely burned in the fire. His body was covered with burns. He, lost the ability to speak.
It was part of the image. It was part of the whole enigma of the Undertaker's brother.
But I mean, we've said it before. You know, the fans that are so passionate, internet fans, for lack of a better term, they see now Kane with the new style tights, and there's no burns on him, and now he can speak, and they're so that, hey, when did he begin to be able to do this?
There was a lot of major surgery involved in allowing Kane to speak.
And, you know, Kane was in rehab, and we didn't want to talk about that.
Yeah, we didn't want
rehabilitation,
to talk about it.
not rehab.
He was rehabilitating himself.
There you go. Let's go to line 2, Tim Foley. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Yeah, my name is Tim Foley.
Yes.
I want to know on WCW, waiting for the dark match. The dark match when they had to come up the ladder. What do you think that match?
You know, the duck match in itself was kind of weak. Julia hated the match. That was one of the things she said that was sucked about WCW this past Monday. You know who really doesn't like the duck either?
She didn't say that.
She did say that.
No, she did
You
not
weren't
say
here.
that.
She said
she
that.
Never said. She said.
Julia, what did you say?
She said that match was disappointing.
Julia, what did you say?
Julia,
I'm going to plead the fifth and not say anything.
Because I'm right. But no, Conan apparently is one that's not a big fan of the duck either. At one point, I guess 2 weeks ago, he actually handcuffed the duck to himself to prevent Disco from taking it out. Because that whole angle right now is Disco's idea.
Yeah, another question.
Yeah.
When Eric Bischoff, when he is going to sign and take over WCW, you think he can? They can still lose money, or he can sign?
Well, you know, if Mandalay Sports is going to purchase it, I would assume they would purchase it with a clean slate. I don't know, what kind of settlements will be involved, but as Marty has said, and we've said on the show, WCW projected to lose $80+ million this year.
And there's probably going to be some losses initially. They're not going to turn that around, whether it's Eric Bischoff. I wouldn't care if Vince McMahon and the rumors about that the WWF, potentially because of the settlement, had first right of refusal to buy them. They're not going to turn that sinking ship around overnight, but you have to spend money to make money. And in this case, it looks as if somebody's going to have an opportunity to do it, and I think that they'll stop the waters from flooding over.
But, with all these different participants that could be involved, Mandalay Sports and SFX, and and Fox. There's certainly a lot of money there, so
no doubt
they could certainly start off on the right foot, so to speak.
You got that right. The strobe light has been blowing up tonight.
But you know what? I don't think we have any more time, do we? Are we done, Julia? Are we done? Do we have more time?
Want to take one more?
You have about, I don't know, a minute.
Oh, get them on there.
Let's get one on real quick.
We get them on. Talk.
Again, we want to thank Anne Marie's Pizza, 2822 Wayne Street, 256-1400. Grab some pizza, grab some subs, some lasagna, salads.
Wings, salads, everything. Hey, what our hotline?
285-0991.
The website, somebody audio is up right now. Go there. Get the Real Player 8. You can download it right on our website.
For free.
Yeah, for free. A lot of people sending us emails all the time about, can we get this? Can we hear your show? We're hoping to be able to do live audio over the internet here within the next 30 to 60 days. We've been hearing a lot about it, so that'll really open it up. A lot of you in the Midwest, we thank you. You've helped the show grow. And down the line, we hope to be able to spread that nationwide.
And there's still people that want the webcam in here. I don't know if we're ready for that.
Yes, we are.
Not when you strip down to your skivvies, we're not.
They're not my skivvies.
Marty, don't do that. God, Julie, get us out of here.
These are...
That's the Walmart happy face.
No, it isn't. Those are
sick.
Chili peppers. They're my Red Hot Chili Peppers underwear.
Oh, jeez. All right. Thanks, Bubba Ray Dudley, for joining us earlier. Again, also want to thank the Miami Valley Baseball Clinic this Saturday.
Moody, who's likes Georgie Animal Steel.
Yes, he does. And this is the Wrestling Guys, Buckeye Country 106.5.
Good. Hello, Dayton, and we're back again. The tag team champions of Talk Radio, Marty Adams, Shawn Stedham, and the unbelievable 69th wonder of the world, Julia, in the house tonight to bring you 2 hours of nonstop wrestling mayhem on this 50,000-watt flamethrower that they call WBKI.
Buckeye Country 106.5.
Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure.
Your pleasure?
Yes, it is.
Hey, we got a lot to talk about, a lot happening, a lot of news. Obviously, most of you would know some of this because you call the Wrestling Guys hotline at 285-0991. But we've got a lot to talk about, a lot of independent news, VCW, OCW, HWA, WWF, WCW, big ECW news.
Oh, a bunch of stuff.
And let's get right into it.
You know, this morning I did the hotline report about 7:30 or so. There was no news. There was nothing.
That's why it's wrestling, Shawn.
I know. And then all of a sudden, all heck breaks loose. Big story today. There's two of them. We'll give you the one we talked about earlier today on the hotline. Earlier today, a press release was sent out by Mandalay Sports Entertainment that said, quote, while Mandalay Sports Entertainment enjoys an excellent working relationship with World Championship Wrestling and Eric Bischoff, we are not presently and never have been in discussions to acquire the organization. Lie.
No, wait a minute. Why? Wait. I know what you're saying.
Yes.
But they put out an official letter. Why would they lie and make an official statement?
There's a number of reasons why they would.
Okay, let's hear it.
Number one, the rumors about this would not have gotten to this point and lasted this long had there not been some truth to the fact that Mandalay was looking into buying WCW.
Sure, there isn't an association just because Eric Bischoff being associated with Mandalay.
What could end up happening is Eric Bischoff could be the money guy, or somebody else buys WCW. Mandalay would act as the managing partner of that, so technically they would not own WCW. But Mandalay is looking to do something because they have registered a number of domain names associated with World Championship Wrestling, names like WCWExtreme.com, Extreme.net, etc., etc. Mandalay wants to do something with WCW. Now, the other reasoning they could have sent out this press release today, it could be to bluff WCW into lowering their price, because let's say we have no idea what WCW's asking price is, but equate this back to earlier in this year when Jim Bowden said the Cincinnati Reds will not have King Griffey Jr. this year. Well, what ended up happening?
I think that's a little different. I know that things change, but I mean, they're making an official statement. We know that there's,
Eric
potentially
Bischoff.
four suitors.
Think back a couple years ago when Bischoff said WCW is not talking to Bret Hart. 2 weeks later, Bret Hart's in WCW.
Yes.
This is Eric Bischoff.
That's not that's not from
Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff.
Works with Mandalay.
He works with them. He doesn't make official statements for Mandalay.
Trust me, Mandalay is involved with it. And here's the other thing, too. The World Wrestling Federation, we've talked about this before, they have, because of their copyright settlement in that lawsuit with WCW, they have first refusal to match any offer that somebody would make
You're
for
sure
World
of
Championship
that.
Wrestling.
You're positive of that.
80-90% sure.
How
yes.
are you positive? That's a rumor, Shawn.
We just trust me on this.
Okay. Jesus.
What's to say that Vince is not going to match any offer anybody makes? I would.
Well, if that is the case, I can agree with that. It would be ludicrous for the WWF not to do it.
Right.
There are so many positive things that can come out of that, but there's also some negatives, but I think the positives far outweigh them. I'm not going to disagree with that. But to say that you know that it was in the lawsuit, Stedham, give me a break.
I'm saying 80-90% positive that it was in there.
Okay. You're still trying to figure out who the driver was that hit Austin. Now all of a sudden you're an expert on official memos from Mandalay
Yes, I am.
and laws.
Yes, I am.
Get on with the news, would you please?
Anyway, but the other point is that what could end up happening in all this is simply for WCW to shut down the doors and for Mandalay to start their own company.
Yes.
If that's true, because let's face it, Vince McMahon could afford anything he wants.
Well, they could shut down the doors, but there's a lot of contract obligations. There's a lot of other obligations. I just don't see that happening. I think that the financial risk, even though with most big companies, if you're going to take a hit, you want to take the major hit. You can end up writing it off over the course of time. So, that, you know, there's potential for that, but I have a hard time seeing it. I think that somewhere along the line, Mandalay, one of the suitors, or somebody else, WWF, well, who were we just talking about?
One of the Japanese organizations, I think NOAA is looking at.
I think that's a stretch, but I think somebody is definitely looking to take it over.
Well, and also, too, remember this. We are getting closer and closer to that merger between Time Warner and America Online.
Is it going to happen?
Oh, yeah, it is. America Online has made it clear they do not want to have anything in Time Warner losing money. And certainly WCW, we've mentioned it, we've banged that drum many times, $80 million this year they're going to lose. They want to cut that loss and either sell off the company or close it down completely.
I agree with
There's
you.
also talk that if Time Warner retains WCW, it could become a television-only company. No house shows, nothing outside of simply running Nitro and Thunder.
A lot of different speculation going on. I'm not going to disagree with you. I know that you feel confident that what you're saying is true.
Yes, I do.
I disagree.
Okay, we'll see.
Yes, we will.
By the way, Brad Siegel made his first appearance at WCW headquarters earlier today, left after a couple of hours, didn't say anything to anybody.
Yeah, what's new about that?
Well, he's been avoiding people like the plague.
Wouldn't you? Your company's potentially up for sale. You come in the office.
I'm not saying I blame the
You've got
guy.
hundreds of employees there. Everybody wants to know what the hell is going on, and you're going to have a round-table discussion there in the lunchroom?
No, not at all.
Oh, no, you're
I don't
getting
blame the
out.
guy. I'm just saying it adds fuel to the fire.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Last Friday's ECW on TNN was a historic one because it was the last one. TNN announcing earlier today that it canceled ECW on TNN. Now, as we told you a few weeks ago, Vince McMahon had given the A-OK for Paul Heyman and ECW to remain on the network until the end of the year. However, TNN and ECW continued to have disagreements. According to some sources, TNN officials asked ECW to pay them a percentage of pay-per-view earnings from now until the end of the year. Also, TNN officials were asking ECW to concede several contractual issues which they have threatened to sue the network over. ECW officials said that the network has not lived up to its contractual obligations and it is considering its legal options.
Have you ever seen a situation that Paul Heyman has been involved in that hasn't turned into this?
No.
Okay, thank you. Hey, we agreed on something.
Paul Heyman said, quote, "They screwed us," end quote.
They screwed us. Well, who's your daddy? I mean, you can only be daddy so long.
By the way, it was pointed out that Vince McMahon had nothing to do with this. He did not rescind his waiver that allowed ECW to air on TNN. This is purely between ECW and TNN.
So Paul Heyman still has his daddy there, Vince McMahon.
Vince is still Paul Heyman's daddy.
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy? Tonight on Jay Leno's Tonight Show, Chyna will be making a guest appearance, I assume, to talk about her Playboy pictorial.
She might be showing some stuff off tonight.
On Leno? Nah, it's a family show.
Hey, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some pretty risque stuff on Leno.
Earlier, if you want to check out FX at 11 o'clock, Ivory is going to be a guest on the X Show. That might be where you see some stuff.
You can see some
Given
stuff.
the X Show.
I saw some stuff in this month's Playboy. I got my birthday issue.
I saw that. I was at your house. We
Yes, you
saw
were.
that. Yes.
Yeah, no wonder the pages weren't the same after you left.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Julia will get upset.
Julia.
Because she wanted me to bring in the issue.
Look at her. She's blushing. The 69th wonder of the world, and she's blushing.
By the way, going back to ECW just for just a minute, the PTC this afternoon sent out a media alert saying that ECW was close to landing on USA and that people needed to be concerned because that would be evil.
You know what I got for the PTC?
That was good.
That's it.
Now they're going to see out media alert about us.
They need to send one out because who cares? That's what my word is for PTC.
The rock group Cypress Hill will be your guest along with Mick Foley this Sunday on Sunday Heat.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Ratings are in for the third week in a row. Raw bangs out a 5.4 rating. Nitro a 2.5 rating. This is bad here. At 9 o'clock, whenever Raw came on the air, to a 1.9 and never over that one.
That's the bad part. They stayed at a 1.9 every quarter break right to the end of the show. Really not too bad before that, starting out at the 2.6, building up to a 3.4. Raw comes on and just spanks them. Spanks them.
Thunder tonight expected to be a very good one. A lot of the top talent is there. Goldberg against Chuck Palumbo, Sting against Mike Sanders, Scott Steiner against Rey Mysterio Jr. Kevin Nash is going to be on the show. Tag team title match, Loco and Cajun against Hendrick and O'Hare. So a bunch of stuff tonight on Thunder for you to watch on TBS.
Speaking of Kevin Nash, looks like Big Sexy's going to have his surgery when he comes back.
Is he?
A lot of talk about it. Kevin had talked to us when he was here in the Miami Valley here about a month ago, and had said that he needed surgery, and you could visibly see just from walking, really not doing anything, that he was having a hard time with the knees. And
that's why he's been at coach role for a while, too.
He's definitely going to be coming back. Look for the return of Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, that is going to be happening, too. Will it be with Eric Bischoff, or...
Well, it's been well chronicled. Eric Bischoff and DDP, good friends, have been good friends. Ex-neighbors, by the way, used to live next to each other, same neighborhood. And I think they did.
That's what I've heard. Anyway, SmackDown...
like Sugar, Julia, and
lawn tools.
Yeah, lawn tools.
Lawn tools. SmackDown tapings, a preview of what you will see tomorrow night on UPN or NBC here locally. Tables match between Lowdown and the Dudleys. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, and X-Pac go at it for the Intercontinental title in a three-way dance. Al Snow defends the European belt against Prince Albert. Triple H and the Road Dogg against Benoit and Saturn. Tag team titles will be on the line. Raven and Taz challenging the champions, the Hardy Boys. Kane battles Kurt Angle, and Val Venus challenges The Rock. And, of course, more about Stone Cold Steve Austin and Rikishi.
Hey, and we're happy to say this Saturday, if you're an Al Snow WWF fan, you can't wait till the 12th of November. Head up to Toledo, Ohio, the sports arena up there. Very intimate place, just like the Hara Arena is here. Not a bad seat in the house. Still tickets available. The wrestling guys are going to be heading up there, but we are going to have a great time. Toledo Sports Arena, take you about 2.5 hours to get there. Al Snow, and I'm happy to say they're getting ready to give the guy a new contract. Contract negotiations are underway. They did finally come to Al. Al has about 6 to 7 months left on his current contract, and JR came to him and said, we need to sit down and let's see what we can do to put something together. So,
well, WCW started making comments through their internet show and others about Al Snow's underused. Al Snow would be great in WCW, so it's nice to see the World Wrestling Federation realizing what they have as far as talent goes in Al Snow.
And Al brings a lot to the table. We're all aware of it, not only in his wrestling persona, where he's, I think, one of the better workers in the WWF, but also behind the scenes.
And he works hurt, too. We know that one for a fact. Vince McMahon today denying an ESPN report by Peter Gammons, the god of all baseball news.
Peter Gammons.
That the World Wrestling Federation's owner was looking at buying the Boston Red Sox. Vince said, quote, I have no interest in buying the Boston Red Sox, end quote. So,
they must have really needed to talk about something.
Absolutely. And that is all for now. Now, we have phone calls to get to, 457-1065. A lot to talk about tonight. Your thoughts of Rikishi and Stone Cold Steve Austin. We'll talk more about that when we come back. ECW, where should they go? Where will they go? And we're going to talk about Juvi Guerrero. Juvi got in trouble over the weekend.
Juvi was a bad boy.
If you haven't heard it by now, Juvi got naked.
Naked?
And we'll talk about that when we get
You're listening to the Wrestling Guys.
Julia, don't impersonate him now.
We'll be right back, Dayton.
Put your shirt back on.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys, brought to you by Dyer, Garofalo, Mann & Schultz, the accident attorneys right here. They're spread all over the Miami Valley. You can call 1-800-INJURED to put a tiger on your team.
No, we got to kill that liner down that Eddie and Mamacita have no heat anymore.
Well, I don't think you think it's done completely.
It's done.
Why?
You know, you can't. Billy Gunn's in the picture now. Triple H, he's going to be losing Stephanie soon to Kurt Angle.
I guess you get a centerfold in Playboy, you just get all kind of men.
It's not her fault.
What do you mean?
Guerrero was in the shower with two of the Godfather's women.
He wasn't doing anything. He was in there. Somebody needed their back scrubbed. He's helping out.
Wasn't the back that got scrubbed, I don't think.
He was.
In case you missed Raw this past Monday,
Help out.
GTV caught Eddie in the shower with a couple of the Godfather's former employees. And
well, they weren't doing nothing.
Of course not. But so Chyna threw the engagement ring back in Eddie's face. Billy Gunn came down, Chyna's former DX partner, and defended her and got Eddie Guerrero's face, and they got into it. So
Eddie Guerrero,
that's going to be a match at No Mercy.
Better watch it, man. I mean, she can't stay away from that hot Latin heat. She'll be back. You know it.
Another match is going to happen at No Mercy. The return of Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring, battling the man that ran him over, Rikishi.
You think?
Well, that's what it's going to be for now.
You're positive?
For now.
For now.
For now.
Shawn Michaels, you think he's out now for good?
No, the funny thing was back in the locker room after Raw went off, everybody was joking about the pop that Hulk Hogan's name got in the arena.
Yes, he did.
And they were wondering how soon it would be for Hulk Hogan to call in and start, "Hey Vince, do you need me?" and stuff like that.
Long blonde hair.
And there was also, and I mentioned this today on the first update on the hotline, there's also some speculation that if Vince would actually buy WCW, to bring Hulk Hogan's contract over and to have Hogan have been the one to actually hit Stone Cold Steve Austin and push that at WrestleMania for next year.
A lot of possibilities going on right now, and a lot of possibilities with Stone Cold. I still would love to see it. Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold.
Well, Michaels has got to say he wants to come back.
I think he did. From what I understand, Michaels really has said he would like to have a major role in one of the storylines. They don't feel that he has a time commitment right now to be able to do that because of his other active ventures.
A lot of people were wondering why it ended up being Rikishi that was put into that role of who hit Austin. Rikishi had been the guy they had chosen for quite a while. Part of the reason is that they want to elevate another mid-carder into that main event status. The other part of it, too, is they're not really positive of how Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to be once he gets back in the ring. That's still a big question.
Well, yeah, because you can spend a lot of time getting a stink butt.
Well,
I mean, you can blow a lot of your match just getting stink butted.
Well, you can. So Rikishi is a good guy for Austin to work his first match against. If for some reason Austin doesn't do well in the ring, he shows a lot of ring rust, they don't build up the hype of an Austin Rock confrontation and then have it turn out to be poor. This is a good way for Austin to work off his ring rust, sharpen the skills a little bit more, and then build up to Austin and Rock next year at WrestleMania, which is right now what is penciled in, unless something happens where they can get Hogan or something like that again.
I think we'll see a lot of changes before the next WrestleMania.
Probably, but WrestleMania is in Texas next year. You got to think Austin's in the main event.
Oh, no
without a doubt.
You also got to think Shawn Michaels.
And how will they play? Will The Rock continue to play the role of he had no involvement, he knew nothing, or will it actually turn out that Rikishi was covering up for The Rock? There's a lot to.
Hey, can you drag it out that long?
The one thing that made me a little bit uneasy, I get uneasy anytime the race card's played, and they're certainly pushing the edge with this one.
I don't like to see it. I think that there's a time and a place for everything, and an occasional remark or an innuendo. But I think that when you push the envelope the way they're doing right now, I'm with you, Shawn. I don't think
and what you're forcing is you're forcing the fans to align yourself or to boo this guy based on his racial beliefs, and that is what you're treading the water a little bit. But
that can backfire on you.
Vince did it in the past. He did it with the Nation of Domination. Then once the Heat started getting involved, he threw Owen Hart in the mix to try and quell that down a little bit. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure, as we've said before, Vince is much smarter than I, and we.
Yes.
So we'll find out what happens.
Yes, we will.
I wasn't saying Vince was smarter than you yet.
Well, he is. Well, and at least in wrestling.
At least in that.
Yes.
And the XFL.
And that.
By the way, they're putting up. Do you see where they're putting up the XFL sign on the Titan Towers?
I love it.
A big XFL sign.
I
by the
can't
WWE.
wait. I think it's going to be fantastic.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
We'll see what happens.
You don't like it?
Only if there's a fantasy league involved.
All right, well, then that's you. You got it.
Hey, 5-1 this week. I'm back on the winning streak.
Oh, well, good for you.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, we're happy, too.
Hey, I'll split the money with you.
Yes, well, then I'm happy, too, 5-1.
There you go.
Yeah, Julie's giving you the fingers up like big deal. No.
I was going to put you in on the cut, too, but now forget it. Jeez.
She liked it. Hey, let's get to the phone lines again. They've been lit up since before the show. And let's go to line 1 from Ludlow Falls. Hellraiser, you've got the wrestling guys.
Yeah, I think Disco Inferno and his partner got screwed.
How's that?
On Nitro when they had that tag title match, and then the one, I forget what his name is, but came out and restarted a match after they was knocked out.
Well, they did. I mean, Sanders came out there and did a little, gave his buddies a favor, so to speak.
Yeah, and do you think Austin Rikishi's going to be a really, really big war?
It's going to be built up that way. Now, how they actually perform in the ring, we're going to have to wait and see. But certainly, the hype going into this match is going to be huge.
Hey, Rikishi, they've done a great job of building him up since he came aboard. He's over with the fans. I don't care if he's, whatever they end up doing with him being a heel or babyface. But the point being, and Shawn made a great point, you don't want to put him in against somebody that he's got to work. I mean, really work to. When Austin's work ethic is great in the ring, initially you put him in with the Rikishi. The worst thing that happens is Rikishi walks away with a great push and is a mainstream player now.
And Rikishi, the heel turn had been rumored for quite some time to put him in as a heel. A lot of talk was made about him going against The Undertaker. Undertaker's now going to be out 4 to 6 weeks or something like that with the groin injury again.
Which really they didn't think would last that long. Probably injured it with that newlywed.
You think so?
Yeah, that's
Sarah?
how it hurt your groin.
That's their name. It's across his neck. Everybody knows what the name is now.
That's so he doesn't forget it.
Hellraiser, anything else?
Yeah, how long do you think, if Shawn Michaels does come back to the ring, how long do you think that would be?
That's, pure speculation. Again, as Marty said, nobody's really positive on the WWF side that Michaels wants to make the time commitment to come back and have a sustained run. So,
Hey, you got your own wrestling federation. You got a Nitro girl for a wife, brother. That's high maintenance, man. You got to take care of business at home.
That keeps you busy. Thanks a lot for the phone call. Let's move over to line 2 in Riverside and Marty's favorite caller.
Hey, man, this saves me a lot of money. Lady Greenbucks, you've got the wrestling guys.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine.
Good.
I didn't get to call in the other day, so happy belated birthday to you, Marty.
Thank you very much.
And I'll give you a birthday present later.
Oh, thank you. That'll make it like it's a whole nother birthday again. So what's been going on? What's happening in the life of the Greenbucks?
Well, Lord Greenbucks is in Australia for something. I have no idea.
No, WCW's down there, so that's probably why he's down there.
Okay. And I think Chris Benoit will win the World Champion belt before December.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
That's her prediction.
That's my prediction.
She likes the Canadian crippler. What's the laugh about?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, nothing.
Okay, so what else? What else is going on?
Not a whole lot. I've been trying to be good.
Well, that's good. You need to be good. Mr. Greenbucks is out of the country as usual, so anyway, we appreciate you calling in, and next time, don't miss my birthday.
Absolutely. Marty wants his birthday present on time, right?
Absolutely.
Not that, you'll take the belated present, I think.
Oh, yeah, at this point, of course.
Absolutely. Let's go to line 3, West Milton. It's Suicide X. You're on the Wrestling Guys.
Hey.
Hey.
I was thinking on the Rikishi and Austin thing. That was sort of weird. I didn't figure that one out.
But did you like it or did you not like it?
Oh, I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah, but no. My question is from last week. Do you think Samu will probably pop up in this?
Possibly. I don't know. I think that would be a stretch. I don't know. Anything can happen. It'll be interesting because they're certainly pushing the fact that the Samoans were always kept down. So it'll be interesting to see if Afa and Sika and the Tonga Kid and Jimmy Snuka and a lot of the people that Rikishi mentioned this past Monday, if they actually show up sometime on the WWF.
Yeah, but if Rikishi goes against Austin, I think they might do that Yokozuna thing again for how big he is.
The thing is, Yokozuna has not lost any weight whatsoever. I don't think you're going to see Yokozuna back in the ring unless it's just for an appearance and not anything physical whatsoever.
The guy can't even get in a ring. He needs a hoist.
Well, I don't mean like wrestling. I mean like Rikishi's going to get up and do that bonsai drop and they're going to pull out the rope like last time.
That could happen.
Yeah,
we'll see. That's not a bad thought.
Oh, yeah, and I just wanted to know, when is Triple H and the hottest girl in the world trying to get back together?
I think they're building up towards that. I don't know. I would say by the end of the year, but certainly the relationship between Kurt Angle and Stephanie continues to build, and I think it's just a matter of time.
Then he's got to get a divorce.
Triple H?
Yeah, that takes time.
Not that long.
Yeah, Billy Gunn's
Don't
there.
they have like a drive-through divorce out in Vegas?
Oh, yeah, I think you can go to Jamaica and get it done.
A quickie divorce?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, what's going on with WCW? I didn't get here in time to hear about that.
As far as...
I mean, I heard, when I got on there, I heard that WWF might buy them.
Well, that's been a rumor. Mandalay Sports Entertainment the last month or so has been heavily rumored to be buying WCW. Now, Mandalay says they have never had talks with WCW. Marty and I really don't believe that. So we still think that Mandalay is going to be involved in some way with another company buying WCW. The one thing that we have heard is that the World Wrestling Federation, because of a lawsuit settlement, has first refusal rights to match any offer any company would make that would like to buy WCW. So, why the World Wrestling Federation would want to buy a company losing $80 million, we don't know. But certainly Vince, I think, would want to match anybody's offer just to prevent anyone else from coming in there and possibly turning that ship around.
The bottom line is you're going to see some major changes in WCW, whether it's WWF, Mandalay, or somebody else. They're either going to modify the entire program the way it is today, or you're going to see new owners.
The one thing, if you cut back and become a television-only company, which is being rumored about WCW, you can cut your talent roster. WCW's done that, dramatically anyway over the last couple of months. But what's their roster now? About 50?
Yeah, but they needed to. They had so much dead weight on there they were paying and still are.
If you go to a TV-only company, you can cut that down to 15 or 20, just like that, because you don't have the house shows or anything else you have to go to. Thanks a lot for the phone call.
Sure.
We appreciate
I'd just like to give a shout-out to Fish Fly, and I wish to join WAD.
You want to join
the WAD?
Oh, well,
the Fly is kind of getting things back
Fly's
in
in
order.
Vegas.
Fly's
in Vegas this week.
Oh, that's right. You got your new WAD tape. You're pretty happy.
Corner of the world, will you please blow me up?
Go ahead, blow him up.
Julie, it's up to you.
Julie being quiet tonight. There you go. Suicide X is gone. When we get back, we're going to talk about Juventud Guerrera and a lot more. You're listening to The Wrestling Guys.
On WBKI, Buckeye Country 101. Guys, and yes, you know it. We're brought to you by the accident attorneys, Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz. And they've got locations where?
Oh, Piqua, Middletown, downtown Dayton, Springfield. Any place you need them, Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz will be there for you.
1-800-INJURED. Put a Tiger on your team. I don't care if you need help. They're the people to call. We can tell you they do a great job. Offices everywhere. Don't forget Dyer, Garofalo, Mann, and Schultz, the Wrestling Guys' official sponsor.
And you never know when we need lawyers. So.
That's true.
Weekly basis.
Especially with the Sonny Ono interview being on the internet now. You never know what could happen. Hey, a lot going on. Hoovy,
that's a guy that needed lawyers. Actually,
Hoovy did have a lawyer.
He had to, because in case you didn't hear the stories over the hotline and etc., over the weekend, Juventud Guerrera got himself in trouble out in Australia. Turns out that Hoovy, real name Eduardo Anibal Gonzalez Hernandez, on Saturday got into an argument in the lobby or the restaurant of the Marriott where the guys are staying out in Australia. Something happened between him and Disco Inferno.
Yeah, Disco probably telling him, quit acting like an idiot.
So Juventud Guerrera, who basically went nuts, stripped naked, started throwing chairs.
He was Jesus.
Huh? Explain that one.
You didn't hear that one? He thought he was Jesus.
Did he really?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Are you serious?
He thought he was Jesus. You never know. I mean, wild things happen. This could have been a reincarnation.
According to the police report, he was yelling in a foreign language and violently swinging his arms and legs as the three police officers went to detain him. He pushed and struck all of them, breaking the rib of the female officer after punching her in the chest. Pepper spray had to be used, and he was eventually placed in a padded cell where 2 green ecstasy tablets were found in his sock.
And we may add that the wrestlers tried to calm him down before that, to no avail. Several of them, the man, he just basically, the bottom line, lost his mind.
Yes.
And, whatever little bit was still there.
Well, I mean, obviously the guy has a problem, and ecstasy, I don't care what you hear about it, it's not a good drug.
Well, there are
now
no
we're
drugs.
saying any drugs are good.
No, I mean, you don't do those things. Here's a guy that really, in my opinion, got cut a break, went in, had a contract negotiated, tried to hold out, wanted more money, wanted this, has had all kinds of problems. Talented, yes. Mentally, he's out to lunch. Get him out of there.
Well, let's even talk about earlier this year, Hoovy was on his way to be deported from this country after a DUI incident, and it was only because the intervention of guys like Dave Pinzer and other WCW executives that wrote letters of supporting him, letters of recommendation to the judge in the case, begging them to keep Hoovy in this country, which they did. The guy has had second chance, blows it.
You know what I got for him? Goodbye, Hoovy. Take a break. Get out. Get yourself together. Go do some stuff down in Mexico, and let somebody else that deserves an opportunity like the one that's been handed to you over and over again give them a shot.
I will hope for this. We all know that the British Bulldog had his problems, and even though he was gone from the World Wrestling Federation, they still took care of him, paying for his drug rehabilitation. We don't know if WCW is going to release Hoovy or not, although a couple of people I heard from over the weekend said we don't expect him ever to be in this company again. Hopefully, WCW will still support him enough, at least, to help him get whatever treatment he needs.
I agree with that. I don't think you turn your back on him. I think you help a person, but the person has to want help. And at this point, I don't know that Hoovy knows what he wants or where his needs are.
Hoovy did plead guilty on 2 counts of assaulting a police officer, 1 count of assault causing bodily harm, 1 count each of disorderly behavior, willful exposure, and possessing a dangerous drug. He was fined basically $3,500. World Championship Wrestling told the court that they are sending him home and he would lose all of the income on the current tour. His lawyer said that his future with World Championship Wrestling will be decided at a later date. So that's basically the story on Juventud Guerrera. The one thing too, which really helped out Hoovy, they did not record the conviction. Had they actually quote unquote convicted him, he would not be allowed to travel. And being the sole provider of his family, who has a new baby, showing responsibility there. They said, okay, you know what? You're going to be,
He got a break cut.
He got another break cut.
Another one. And, don't get us wrong. I mean, we talk about it. You got Chris Candido, Tammy Lynn Sitch.
Jake Roberts.
That's right. It goes on and on. You got to want to do what's right. You have to want to do what's right. In this case, we got a gentleman there that doesn't know what's right, needs help. Hopefully he gets it. At that point, you reevaluate. Right now, he doesn't deserve what he's getting.
Absolutely. 457-1065 if you want to hop on board the wrestling guys. Let's get back to the phone calls. And
Marty, let's go to line 5. Tyrus Horde from West Carrollton. You've got the wrestling.
What?
Horde.
Okay, I thought you said something else.
Tyrus.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Is it Horde, brother?
Yes, it is.
All right, man, I got it right.
Good. It sounded like you said it first.
Remember Tyrus and Pandora?
Yeah.
Group.
Okay.
I want to ask your opinion on something. While Rikishi was giving his big speech on why he ran over Austin, I was really paying attention to The Rock's face, and I was wondering on what your opinion was on what his take's going to be on it, and how they're going to push his angle of the story.
Good question.
I think what they're going to do, this isn't the close to that. Rikishi, what he ended up doing, just puts another swerve into the story. I think that what you had to do, you had to look at what The Rock's expression, they wanted you to see The Rock's expression so that they left that doubt in everybody's mind that this is really what happened and that there's more to come.
And I don't think they really want to turn The Rock heel, at least yet. And given, again, his popularity that he has gotten in the mainstream media, I don't know if they really want to turn him heel at all. And certainly, if The Rock is found to be the one behind hitting Stone Cold Steve Austin, then that is what will happen. I think what you're going to see is The Rock questioning whether or not he deserves to be in the spot he's in because Austin has been out, and take more of a sportsmanship take to it rather than he was actually trying to put Austin out so that he could, go to the top of the World Wrestling Federation.
What I got out of it was, from what my gut instinct was, that with the push he's getting right now and where he's at right now in the WWF, it pretty much just cheesed him off completely. So, in my opinion, his first reaction is going to be he's going to go off. He'll probably end up having a match with Rikishi because he's going to say he didn't need his help, and then he's going to end up, as much as he defends his title now, I think you'll end up seeing him defend it like 10 times more, just so he can prove to his fans that he does deserve it, and so he can prove to himself that he's not just there because of what Rikishi did.
Good point. Excellent idea.
Definitely could go that route. There's nobody going to debate that with you.
Yeah, nice idea there.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you
thanks
for the phone
calling
call.
in, Horde.
One thing which would be interesting now is how they're going to handle the Royal Rumble, because traditionally the winner of the Royal Rumble gets the title shot at WrestleMania. Now, certainly in the last few years, there's been some swerves between the Royal and WrestleMania to change that. But
this should be, that's a great point. Should make it even more interesting because there has to be something involved then.
Absolutely. And it almost takes away from the Royal Rumble because you start thinking, okay, well, let's think about who could actually be in the main event WrestleMania. Rock, Triple H, Austin. So one of those guys will win the Royal Rumble, whoever isn't the champion at the Rumble at the time.
You think?
We'll see.
You don't think they'll do it? You think they'll let the winner of the Royal Rumble?
We'll have to wait and see how they do it. I wish they would change that because I think the Rumble could be a great tool to help put somebody else over. a mid-carder like Taz, like Raven, like whoever you want to mention, the Dudley Boys,
Al
Chris
Snow.
Jericho. You throw in your Al Snow plug there.
Al Snow,
but that could be used to help put somebody else over and give a little bit more suspense to the Rumble.
All right. Hey, let's get to line 6 now from Dayton, Ohio. Tim Foley.
You got the wrestling guys.
Yes, this is Tim Foley.
Yes.
I the one called you last week, close to 9 o'clock, and we got showed.
Okay.
I want to know, I got a couple of questions.
Okay.
WWF, the tag team, who were the two guys dressed up, had complete yellow outfit, see the face?
I don't know who that was yet. The two guys that came out there in the gold outfits?
Yes.
Don't know. I don't think it was Dustin Rhodes, though. You think it was Edge and Christian?
Well, yeah, because they can't get their titles back, and they're probably trying to make up a new tag team. So
Julia with a nice observation.
Yeah, she thinks it's Edge and Christian.
Okay.
There you go, Tim.
I would bet money on
You heard it, the 69th wonder of the world.
Says it's Edge and Christian. She has to be right.
Okay, another one. On WCW, I want to know is all the wrestling worried about what happened to them, because they know if they're going to, another company going to buy them out or not.
We don't know exactly which wrestlers will be kept, which wrestlers will go. Everything right now is still speculation. We have a good idea that WCW will be sold, and depending on which company buys it. Again, Mandalay Sports Entertainment seems to be the front runner, or at least somebody associated with Mandalay Sports. Maybe a partnership between Jason Hervey and Eric Bischoff, and Mandalay will be the managing partner. A lot of it's going to depend. If you got to think if Eric Bischoff is somehow in charge, Eric Bischoff likes to use the older established wrestlers and push those guys. DDP, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, guys like that. If one of the Japanese companies comes in and buy it, who knows? It all depends on who it actually is that writes the check.
Could be a lot of different things happen. That's really a lot of speculation. But thanks a lot, and thanks for calling in, Tim.
So we'll see. I mean, I still think Mandalay will be involved some way. Mandalay wants wrestling.
Mandalay wants wrestling.
Jason Hervey's one of the guys in charge.
Big deal. Who's Jason Hervey?
Jason Hervey's a huge mark.
Well, yeah.
With money.
Well, we're speculating.
He's like he'll be like Daniel Snyder of the Redskins. Daniel Snyder or Jerry Jones of the Cowboys. They want to be a football player, so they go out and buy a team.
Okay.
Jason Hervey wants to be a wrestler. He'll go out and help buy his own company.
Maybe David Arquette will help him.
We'll talk about that when we get back.
Yeah, you want to talk? Oh, you don't want to talk about David Arquette.
No, we got to have something to build up to when we come back out of the break.
All right. Well, let's get back to the phone lines again. Let's go to line 7 from Dayton, Ohio. John, you've got the wrestling guys.
How you doing?
Good, John.
What's up, Johnny?
I was wondering who's going to be at the November 12th event at the Nutter Center. Could you tell me who's going to be there?
Everything that you've seen, we're being told The Rock's going to be there. He's been used in the advertisements. We talked to WWF yesterday. We hope to have a card maybe even as early as tomorrow. Next week, and this is a great lead-in for us, John, we're going to start our WWF ticket giveaway. We're going to do some things on the website.
Julia, you can't win.
No, you can't win, Julia.
You work with the wrestling guys.
You might be able to do something. But we should know the card. What we'll probably do is announce the card on the hotline and then go over it again next week. But WWF at this point, because of changing storylines and it being a house show, they haven't really released it.
The one nice thing that maybe, hopefully will happen here in Dayton is that this past weekend at the house shows down in Texas, Stone Cold Steve Austin did appear at the house shows. He didn't wrestle. He came out, basically what he's done the last few weeks, gave some stunners and went back to
Come on, he was at home, Shawn.
Well, I know, but hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Who's there? Al will be there.
Well, yeah, but Raw the next day is in Columbus, so hopefully some of the guys will come in early, do the show in Dayton, and then go up to Columbus.
Well, they got the huge run. They got Cincinnati on Saturday, Dayton on Sunday, Columbus on Monday, and Indianapolis on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Can I give a shout-out to somebody?
Yeah, go for it.
To Dale Northrup.
Okay.
Dale Northrup from John of Dayton.
All right, thanks.
Hey, okay,
no problem.
brother. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for calling in, John.
Bye.
Time to break?
Get us to a break there, 69th wonder of the world.
When we come back, David Arquette, former WCW David Arquette, WCW champion David Arquette.
I am the champ. Call me champion, baby.
And we'll explain what that line means when we come back.
Yes, and Val Venus, really, you don't hear that much anymore, do you?
Well, he's with the RTC, so, he's left the porn days behind him.
Well, I'll tell you what, though.
Much like Julia
did.
did.
Gimmick. It was a good gimmick. Yeah. I don't believe you said
there.
Let me tell you something. This young lady, you're trying to pollute her, Statham. That's right. She's pure as a driven snow. We've already given her a little bit of a risque name, the 69th wonder of the world, but you have her blushing. Quit saying things like that to her. That's right. We want to keep her as a producer. You ran the last producer out of here, Statham.
Wait a minute.
So let's just settle down right now. You got it?
Yeah. Anyway, Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer, reporting on his website about the whole Mandalay and WCW deal, that right now the speculation is that the company will be managed by Mandalay, but the actual company that owns WCW, guess what his name will be?
What?
Eric Bischoff Productions.
You think?
That is what he's saying. That is what is being talked about right now.
That's gospel then.
No, I'm saying this is what Meltzer's saying.
They put out an official letter, Statham.
What did Mandalay say?
Didn't we just go through this
letter?
Official letter? We have never, I repeat, Statham.
They have never said that they will buy WCW,
or have been in talks.
But they could be working with someone who is going to buy WCW.
Okay. All right.
See,
we'll see.
You know how this works. Please, you've been around this long enough. The technicalities.
The technicalities of wrestling.
Card is subject to change.
Yes, life is a work.
Life is a work.
Let's get to the phone lines again. And he's back for another, I don't know what you even call what he does, but the Middletown Marauder himself, Binkster. You've got the wrestling guys.
Hey, what's up, man?
How are you?
Pretty good. First of all, it's Stidham.
Yeah.
First of all, it's Stidham, not Stidham, Marty.
Oh, he's defending me. Thanks.
Oh, man, why don't we do this, will you, Bink?
Uh-oh.
Go ahead. Kiss up. Go ahead, Bink. I'll let you go.
What?
Go ahead and kiss up to him.
I ain't kissing up to him. He's my good buddy.
Oh, is he? Well, then, here, let me give you another good buddy.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing?
You got it.
He's trying to
Look,
kiss
you
up
guys
to me.
been
Wait a
blowing him
minute.
up. Get him out of here. You want to be a good buddy? This isn't. Get your CB out and talk to some truckers going down I-75 if you want a good buddy.
Jeez, you're a little ticked.
Hey, that's the way it works.
Hey, speaking of somebody else that's ticked right now, according to the tabloids, and we love tabloids.
Yes, we do.
Because if it's in the tabloid, by God, it's got to be true.
It's got to be. Goat Lady had 4 babies, and none of them were goats. And
Vampire Boy is, upset because he can't find a girlfriend and all this other stuff. Courtney Cox is upset with her husband, former WCW World Champion David Arquette.
And she should be upset with him. He's trying to have kinky relations.
He is demanding that in the confines of their bedroom that she say,
"You're the champ," while they're having fun.
Relations.
Yeah.
Yes.
In other words, David, because he is the ex-WCW champion, while having relations, wants to be called the champ.
Yes. Well, he's a former champion, and life's a work, so hey.
Hey, I don't blame him. Hey, that's what you got to do. You got to make it spicy, man. Those things happen.
Demand the respect
I
that you
am
deserve.
the champion, baby. Call me the champ.
There you go.
Hey.
Julia, would you call him the champ?
No, because he's a dork.
Okay.
David Arquette is a dork.
I don't like him.
I can't believe you said that.
It's the only person I
Marty,
don't
do I
like.
need to play back the tapes when David Arquette won the belt of things we said about him? Because we were pretty...
We never called him a dork. We called him a lot of other things, but never a dork.
Well, I just don't... He's not very nice.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that's Courtney Cox. I can understand it then, man.
So Courtney Cox could be back on the market.
Yeah, every time you're, having relations, you want to yell champ all the time. I don't know if I'd want to do that.
I don't think so.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Hey, let's get back to the phone lines again. Let's go to line 1 this time. Gorbis from Park Lane. You've got the wrestling guys.
Yeah, I just have a few questions.
Okay.
When is Vampiro due back?
I don't know how much time Ian's taken off. He and his wife had a baby last week. And the good news is everybody's doing fine. They had some complications with that pregnancy, but have a beautiful baby girl, and probably I would think he'll take a few weeks off.
They said 2 to 4 weeks. The main thing was that Ian ended up missing the Australian tour, didn't want to leave, and as Shawn said, the main problems were prior to her really having the child. Things have went extremely well. Good chance for him to spend some quality time with his wife and their new baby, and he's extremely proud, and I think you'll see him in the next 2 to 4 weeks.
That's cool, because he is one of the bright spots of WCW, in my opinion.
So you're an ICP fan, too?
Of course.
Of course he is.
And I also wanted to know if Raven and Taz are going to win the tag titles.
That's on SmackDown tomorrow night.
I know.
Without actually giving anything away, just remember that Raven really hasn't yet paid his dues.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Now, Gorbis, where is Park Lane at?
Park Lane is a little suburb in the middle of nowhere.
What major city is it near?
It's closest to Dayton, I would guess.
Okay. Just curious. I'd never heard about it, so it's got to be hidden away. Is it on a map?
I doubt it.
It's tucked away somewhere. Julie, you've been there, right?
Well, is it near Fairborn? It just sounds right.
We're asking him. Is it near Fairborn?
Very close to Fairborn.
Because isn't it, that's where I'm from, and I remember hearing it. It's like on the outskirts.
You had a boyfriend from Park Lane?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, no, not
We can
it's
start that
bad.
rumor.
All right, man.
Okay.
Anything else, Gorbis?
Hey, Gorbis, thanks for the phone call.
All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye. You know, one thing that we heard the other day was after Raven jobbed to Blackman, that was kind of a test to see how Raven would respond in the locker room. And good news is so far he's passing it.
Well, yeah, everybody's on their P's and Q's. When you go to a new job, you always try to blend in.
Yes.
You try to take things, you let it just flow off.
Yes.
You like water off of a duck's bill.
You do the best you
understand
can.
What I'm
I
saying,
understand.
right?
I smell what
you
you're
don't
cooking.
rock the boat. You just
No.
kind of go along because you know that down the line that's going to pay so many dividends that then you're going to have your chance to be a champion
Well,
and to take over.
especially, you know, if you're going to a company or an organization which is the #1 company in the world, and you have all the guns behind you.
Yes, that's a great point.
Then you want to be on your P's and Q's. Now, if Raven was going into somewhere, I don't want to say WCW, but if he was going to a smaller organization, which maybe didn't have everything the World Wrestling Federation has to offer, certainly he could go in there and throw his weight around a little bit.
That's true. That's a great point.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And, you know, talking about Blackman, his buddy...
Life isn't work, by the way.
Yes, it is. We've been working.
Yes.
Kenny Shamrock is going to be doing a independent event October 21st for a charity show in, I guess it's Proctor, Massachusetts.
Really?
It's going to be at the Proctor High School. So the return, if you're a Ken Shamrock fan, look to find out where Proctor, Massachusetts is, probably somewhere near, what was the name of the city?
Park Lane.
Park Lane. But and the other hot news from Where Are They Now and What Are They Doing, Chris Candido and Tammy Lynn Sitchin, their name pops up constantly. For a number of reasons. But they're going to be back out at XPW for their November to Dismember show.
That's good.
And guess who's going to be there working for free?
Sabu.
Yeah, that's it.
Sabu is the most charitable wrestler on the independent scene right now.
That's it. Well, Chris and Tammy back. That's going to be November 10th in San Bernardino, California. They're going to be facing current work for free XPW champion Sabu.
Hey, one thing, too, is Billy Gunn is going to be in OVW for a couple of dates, rehabilitating, coming back from that shoulder injury. I think he's going to work at Dayton, Louisville, and maybe it's Lexington, too. But he's going to work 2 dates for OVW coming up here soon.
That could be a hell of a match.
The dates.
Chunky Butt 1 versus a 1 night, and Chunky Butt 2.
Chunky Butt's bald.
Hey.
Big Show went bald. He shaved the head.
Well, that's one way to lose weight. I mean, how many liposuctions can you have? They got to stop them. I mean, it's all gone. I mean, sooner or later, the vacuum can only handle so much.
Hey, one thing, since we're talking about independent shows, this Saturday, OCW, their 1-year anniversary show at the John Bryan Community Center in Yellow Springs.
Great show. Hey, and VCW, I know they're upgrading their hotline. We got a email.
They're getting a hotline.
Well, I didn't mean their hotline. I take that back, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But their website, they're going to have their own domain name. They've already registered it, and that should be up any time. I got an email a few days ago about that. So VCW doing a great job running out of the Piqua Armory, running some dual shows with the IWA out of Columbus there in Springfield. We look for a lot to happen with VCW, OCW, UCW talking about coming back.
There's rumblings, there's rumors bouncing around about UCW. There's also Joe Cartwrong supposedly is going to start the IWPA October 28th or something like that. We haven't heard an official card yet.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear information on that. HWA, the big show, Legends Night, October 27th, Grand Victoria Casino. If you weren't there for the last show, you missed a great time. It was fantastic. But here it is, and you're going to see them all that night. King Kong Bundy coming in. Tony Atlas, Mr. USA, and if you didn't see him when he was here about a year ago, fantastic. And this is something that you won't see anywhere. My biggest mark-out moment, and is going to be on the show next Wednesday night, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
You know, Ricky Steamboat was one of the very first guys we had on this show when we covered the first Pillman we were at, Pillman 99. And Marty and I, if we've ever marked out, I think maybe that was it.
Oh, that was it. I mean, we went in there, Road Dogg was there, Al was there. I'm trying to think of who else we had our pictures taken. Ric Flair was there.
Ric Flair, Rey Mysterio Jr., Mick Foley. Conan was there. Missy Hyatt was there. We know about Conan and Missy Hyatt.
I mean, it was a great time. Yeah. But the one person that stood out in my mind and still looked fantastic, like he could have stepped in the ring that minute, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
And Ricky was at Pillman 2000. I talked to him a little bit backstage. He was hanging out with Kevin Nash and DDP. And I tell you what, he's a little grayer than he was back when he was wrestling, but certainly physique-wise, the guy could get back into the ring. Now, of course, he has the neck injury, but, just from what he looks like he'd get back in the ring tomorrow and not miss a beat.
Yeah, and another one that has a son ready that's starting to do his career in the independents. There's a possibility that the Dragon's son may come into play there. We've had a call. He does want to come up and work the show. We haven't really done anything official on that. And also Steamboat Racing.
Yeah.
That's something that they've been into, him and his wife, for quite a while with their children. And pretty big down there in the Charlotte area, Steamboat Racing.
One guy also on the independent scene we might want to talk about a little bit is just Josh Wilcox, who used to play for the New Orleans Saints. He had an appearance in ECW, trained with Chris Hero down at Dory Funk's camp. Josh Wilcox apparently is going to be wrestling at independent shows for the next couple of months, then go to the XFL. So there's a little bit of wrestling connection already in the XFL.
But that's it. Get out, support the independents. I don't care if it's VCW, OCW, UCW, HWA, a new group potentially coming in.
IWA, go down, see OVW in Louisville or wherever they're at.
It's all happening. And once again, October 15th, this Saturday night up in Toledo, Ohio, WWF, and then the big Midwest weekend for the WWF, November 11th. Cincinnati, November 12th, Dayton, November 13th, Raw is War in Columbus, and then November 14th, SmackDown, Indianapolis.
And again, next week we're going to be starting to give away tickets to the show in Dayton, and also on November 12th, Marty and I will be at the Nutter Center before the show, broadcasting live right here on Buckeye Country 106.5.
Hey, that's it. We're going to have it all. Hey,
and we'll bring Julia with us.
You think so? The 69th Wonder of the World's going to make it?
You ready for a public appearance, November 12th?
Yeah.
Her first public appearance?
I was just delaying it for everyone so
Is
that we
that
can
it?
build the excitement
A
up.
lot of people requesting, if you want to send emails on our hotline, but a lot of people requesting a picture of the 69th Wonder of the World.
And we talked to Julia about this earlier before we went on the air, and why were you delaying having your photo taken?
I got my hair cut yesterday. So I didn't want to get my picture taken until, my hair was cut.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
an
that's very
updated photo.
Very important.
Very important.
It is.
Yes, we're happy for you.
Absolutely.
That's it. It looks fantastic.
Do we got time for go to break first? Let's go to break first. When we come back, Kid Chuck's on the line. Ice is on the line.
Yeah, out of Ludlow Falls.
457-1065 if you want to hop on board. We are the Wrestling Guys.
On Buckeye Country, WBKI 106.5. Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys. And yes, we were discussing some havoc and mayhem here in the studio, but we're brought to you by Dyer Garofalo, Mann and Schultz, the accident attorneys. 100
what?
I don't want to say it.
Go ahead.
No, I can't.
Okay.
But anyway,
locations all over the Miami Valley.
1-800-INJURED.
There you go. Put a tiger on your side. Want to mention somewhat of a serious note. The father of Greg Valentine, former professional wrestler Johnny Valentine, apparently undergoing some bad health right now. He's 72 years old. I guess he suffered a pretty bad fall back in August. He had some back surgery on the 15th. He's been laid up since then. At one point, he was in a coma. He's had pneumonia, reactions to medicine, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully he will be okay, but still a little bit of rough time right now in the Valentine family.
That's it. So much going on. You see a lot of second and third generation wrestlers, and we've talked about it. Flying Fred Curry, Bull Curry, great. In the Midwest, and Flying Fred had a great career. His son, Fred Jr., also was with Chris Hero down at Dory's camp. A lot of others. Now we're talking about Ricky the Dragon, Ricky Steamboat Jr.
Now you look at David Flair. I mean, he's in the ring right now.
Well,
and
David Flair needs to be where those guys are, in my opinion. I mean, the greatest thing that happened to David Flair was Miss Hancock.
I think that could be the greatest thing that happens to a lot of people.
Let me tell you what, that girl's got legs, brother.
Oh, man. Anyway, 457-1065 is our phone number if you want to hop on board the Wrestling Guys.
She's blushing again. Julia's blushing.
Why are you blushing?
About legs. All I said was legs.
Why are you? We're talking about Miss Hancock.
Yeah, I mean.
I know, but still.
No, wait a minute. When we were on, when Willie F. filled in on this show and you were gone, Julia was in here her first week. First thing she made the comment was she loved it when the Hardy Boys took off their shirts. So why can you make that comment and we can't talk about?
Yeah, I would have, and I probably would have blushed had she said that in front of me.
I did
no,
blush.
you wouldn't know.
Well, yes, I would.
No.
I blush easily.
By the way, we should mention this before we get to the phone calls. Willie F. called me today. He was ecstatic. You know why?
Why?
Circuit City gave him his money back.
They did give him his money
So for those of you that called and you were wondering what was going on in the Circuit City saga, Willie F. has been vindicated, for now at least. I told him, don't you feel like it's the end of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie and the hand's going to come back up, and something, they're not really dead? He said, oh, yeah. So as of right now, Willie got his money back, so quit calling Circuit City, bugging them. They gave him his money back.
Well, good, and thanks to all of our fans and Willie F. fans that called Circuit City and let them know your feelings about how they treated him.
Yes, and they really did. They came out in support, so
that's what
very
you gotta
cool.
love.
Very cool.
Hey, let's get to line 2 from Ludlow Falls. Ice, you've got the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Ice.
How you guys doing?
Good.
We're cooling. We're
I got
chilling.
a couple questions. Is Austin okay with Deborah coming out to the ring with him?
Well, is Austin okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it seem like he'd get... Because I know he doesn't like to stay in the ring, and he does like to use a lot of weapons, but wouldn't... I mean, she is a big distraction for both hurt people outside, so, I mean, he might get distracted with that, and it might interfere in the matches.
Well, I think that with Austin, I think he'll want to keep Deborah away from the ringside action because of the possible distraction. We saw what Stephanie McMahon meant to Triple H. You know,
yeah.
Stephanie gets involved with Chris Benoit.
You know what, though? Nobody would. I mean, unless you're into puppies, why would you be distracted?
I think you'll see Deborah just stay content with ring announcing and things like that for right now. I don't think you'll see her accompany Steve to the ring yet.
The only good thing about her ring announcing is you being elevated if you're in the ring.
Yeah, and you know how they said that Rakishi, how he hit Austin? You know how they said that The Rock called in and said that his rental car was stolen?
Yeah.
Well, remember on Raw when Rakishi said that he went to check in for the thing to go into the hotel, get checked in, and The Rock looked like he knew that what he was talking about? But didn't he say that he reported it before that, like in the afternoon? But he said that he did it in the night when Austin got hit, right when he went to go check in.
I'd have to watch it again. I'm not too sure about that, but you may be onto something.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that. And
Yeah, if you hit it, Ice, we'll make sure you get credit for it.
Thanks. And what about that duck?
Nobody likes that duck. That duck's about dumb.
Yeah. That was Disco's idea, so read into that what you will.
Read in. That's probably why Hoovy went crazy. That's it. It wasn't that ecstasy. It was the duck. The duck drove Hoovy crazy. It was Disco's idea. Disco tried to defend the duck. Hoovy went off. Then Jesus appeared, and then everything went berserk. It all happened because of the duck.
Ice, Marty's going berserk. Thanks a lot for the phone call. I got to calm him down. I need to check your sock to see if anything's in there.
Yeah,
okay,
there's something in there.
Line 3, Kid Chuck, you're on the Wrestling Guys.
I'm just amazed that Marty just got Jesus and Disco Duck in the same sentence.
Hey, buddy, I can see that's what happened. It took me a while. Ice brought it all to light. We put it together. There it is. It'll be on the internet before we get home.
You know, Marty was trying to find some way to segue from Jesus into a Disco Duck, and he just found his opportunity.
There it is.
What's
up? You remember the big, since Sabu's on